on, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the most influential podcast that you haven't heard yet, the Extraordinary Man Podcast. And I am your host, Phil Jones, or Mike Jones, however you know me personally or professionally. You guys know this gentleman to the other side of me. I'm not going to do the awkward pointing thing because I'm still trying to get used to pointing left or right on this thing.
Yeah.
But introduce yourself.
What's going on, world? It's Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right. So, needless to say, this will be the trilogy of series that we've been talking about regarding what does it take to change your life. So, this will be part 3.
Sure.
Okay. So, if you haven't got a chance to check out part 1 and part 2 of this series, make sure you go into the YouTube, the Facebook, or wherever you consume your content from because we're all over the place. And make sure that you are connecting with the first 2 videos that we did. There's some very insightful information regarding diet, regarding just overall obedience as far as discipline and what you're putting inside of your body, and also taking into consideration how you think and what situations in life have drawn you to make different decisions for yourself. I got a little personal, as I tend to do from time to time, to start explaining some of the reasons why I was able to start moving into a different direction. And Midas was Midas. Y'all know how he give it up. Y'all know how he do. Now,
So let me double dutch that. So this what does it take to change your life? This is not a planned series. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like thought about it being a series off the first episode, and we just started, trying to develop, different ideas and concepts when it came to what does it take to change your life. So in no way is what we saying should be regarded as the golden key or giving you that light. You know what I'm saying? It's simply just conversations that we just had, and hopefully that it would start getting you to start thinking about some things. But you know what I'm saying, these aren't answers because there's a trillion things that can cause somebody to change their life. And these was just, saying some ideas that stuck out the most, and we really dug deep on those particular concepts. So I'm encouraging everybody to do your own due diligence within yourself and find out what does it take to change your life. Like what's going on with you, what's happening with you, uh opportunities that you want to start, putting yourself in front of to capture. It's totally up to you, but these are just our thoughts and concepts to trigger you to think. So let's I just want to put that disclaimer out there. These are not the golden answers. It's just to make you think.
absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that because of the fact that I always want to make sure that we double down on the fact that we don't position ourselves to be the moral authority for
Hmm.
what you should do, who you should do, or to model yourself. In fact, but we are trying to prompt conversation, to prompt thoughts, to get people to start thinking about and taking into consideration where their life is, where they want their life to go, and then we're just trying to give them some helpful hints based off things that we have already endured, or things that people around us have already endured. So one of the what's that saying that a smart man learns from what he experiences and a wise man learns from somebody else's experiences.
Yeah.
So if you are able to draw to this podcast and say, well, I heard how Phil Jones was able to say XYZ in the third, and in listening to what he had to say actually assisted me with not going down that same path that he went down. I did my job. I did my job. Or if Midas is able to say something that prompts you to say, hey, you know, I didn't think about single member LLCs or limited liability partnerships or actually starting to form entities and stuff to be able to create a haven for that business to thrive. That I just went and I just went and bought my name. Just go and buy my name.
Hmm.
LLC, and I just decided to take from that and build for like, excuse me, if in fact that is the motivation for you to get up and move into a direction, we applaud that, and we are trying to see more people take advantage of just utilizing what's in front of them, utilizing the tools that's available to them, and start making the best out of it.
I had a conversation with an individual last night, uh, and the conversation went a little like this. So he was like, "Man, I envy you, man." And I'm like, "Why you envy me, dog?" He was like, "Man, because you know what I'm saying, you smart, you this, you that, you know what I'm saying, thriving business, woo woo, this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying, I look up to you." And I'm like, I appreciate that, but the best way to show me that you're appreciative is to show me that you are paying attention to what I'm doing, learning what I'm doing, or using my drive to want to further myself and build myself up as much as high as I can get myself, and then you use that same fire and internalize it for yourself and build yourself. That's the best way to show me you're appreciative. You know what I'm saying? I and I say that because I'm not gonna say that I'm not appreciative of the accolades or you know saying cool with not receiving flowers, but it 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 would mean a lot more to the person that you look up to show them that you yourself became successful as well. That is the best gratitude that you could show somebody. So I wanted to put that out there for y'all. Like get out there and strive. You know what I'm saying? Become somebody. Be the best you. Change your life. What does it take?
And in the essence of a conversation of changing your life, what one has to understand is that changing your life is a journey, and it's a journey. It's the part of your life to where you have to walk alone, really,
Hmm.
because it's that part to where you have to sit in that classroom of life and you have to figure it out. So it's like whether you figured out the hard way or whether it's something that was passed down to you or whether it's something that you inherit or whatever, you still have to walk into that room. You have to walk into that light and you have to deal with the circumstances that be in order for you to actually get what's yours. And I mean, let's face it, a lot of us will learn the hard way. A lot of us will have to experience or endure, we have to struggle, or we'll have to, insert situational irony here. A
Hmm.
lot of us are going to have to go through certain things that we shouldn't have to go through, and it's not necessarily even a matter of whether or not we should or we shouldn't. It's just the fact that some of us are just hard headed. Some of us are just hard headed. It's just like we just don't. Hey, here's the easy button. It's right there for you. Just push the easy button, and it's nope. I'd rather take the lighter and put it underneath the little smoke signal, and then let the little sprinkler system come down, and then flood everything. And then now I got to spend the rest of the day and the rest of the next couple of days trying to clean up the excess water because I had to do it not just even hard way, but I had to do it the stupid way.
Hmm.
I had to prove that there was fire. I had to prove to myself somehow. And you know what? That's something I actually want to talk about. The desire to have to prove it to yourself.
That's that epiphany moment. That's the next phase that we didn't talk about yet.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if somebody has already done it before you, isn't that proof already that it can be done?
I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I would say yes.
So I mean, so
Yeah.
so so now it's not saying that you decided that you were gonna discover a brand new form of science. or that you're going to get involved in some level of metaphysics or something like that that's going to just take you someplace that the world has never been before. A great deal of the professions that a lot of people are going into, whether you're a restaurateur, whether you're an entrepreneur of some sort, whatever the circumstance may be, the vast majority of things have already been done, which means that there's already steps in place to ensure that you'll get to the finish line. Why do you think so many people are insisting that they have to go about it the hard way?
Because you got, and I know this again based off another conversation, is they want to have that feeling that they built it, that they put in the grind and the hours and they busted up their knuckles or whatever have you, to say that they built that thing, you know what I'm saying, that business, that company, that whatever, insert whatever here. You got a lot of people that are like that, where they just have to, you know what I'm saying, have that they did it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to stand on the shoulder of giants. You know, you got a lot of people that don't believe in that philosophy. But that dude did it before you. Just like you got Don Lexi. Don Lexi is like this huge YouTuber and completely built his platform off Kevin Samuels. And like before the show even starts, he gives a little tribute to Kevin Samuels. You know what I'm saying? He stood on the shoulder of a giant and propelled himself. You know, and like it's, I don't know any, I don't know another, you know, example off the top of my head right now, but just to look at somebody that's already done it before you and then propelling yourself off of the road that was built already. You know.
Like, and with that, it's just like it just perplexes me a lot of times, because why do we find it so fascinating to say that I did it my way? Like, does it take some of the allure off of the win? Like, does the win taste any different because you took a longer route to get there? Or is it the fact that it's not really the destination, but actually the journey that is more important? And how you arrive there sometimes holds a lot more weight than the fact that you arrived there.
Um, that's a very good question, and I, you know, what I'm saying, like that's kind of more of a psychological question when it comes
Well,
to dealing with these individuals, because they I think you're right, like they feel like, I don't know, they just feel like I have to do it. I want to go through the bumps. I want to go through the ups and downs. You know, I want to know the ins and outs and all that. And there's nothing wrong with, of course, learning the ins and outs of your business. But why? What's the problem with taking the accelerated route? Like, why take 57 all the way up north when you could just hit the tolls and shave off 45 minutes of your drive?
well, look at it like this, and again, it's just all just a theory. You have the millionaire that's self-made versus the millionaire that inherited it. Who gets the bigger accolade?
Both. Because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it don't matter. You got there.
Well, again, here's the thing.
It only matters if you got it out the mud. That only matters to people who actually care that you got it out the mud. Like what you, who you are, only matters to people about who care that you are who you are. Where you're at only matters to people that care about where you're at. It only matters to these specific set of people. It does not matter as a whole. So in general, in a nutshell, it don't matter. You got there.
Well,
It
look
don't
at it
matter
from
how you got the message. Did you get the message?
look at it from this point of view. look, look at it from this point of view. Look, look at it from this point of view. 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 there is a, I guess you could say, a romantic fantasy about the underdog story, about the person who started from nothing and
because you
rose to
had nothing.
greatness.
So yeah, I get you. That's why I said if you got it out the mud, that only
Well,
matters to people that care that you got it out the mud.
well, for those of us who don't know what got it out the mud mean, I tried to use more universal terminology to make it understood.
Okay.
So, I mean, same difference. It's just a matter of like I'm looking at it from the point of view of what is the fixation with started from nothing. Now I'm here, and I think that a lot of it is the fact that there's so many people who they in their lives they want to identify with the little guy that became the big guy. They want to identify with the pretty boy Floyd before he became Money Mayweather. And then it's like once people get too big, then all of a sudden we want to tear them down because now we want to see somebody else rise from the bottom. We don't want to see anybody sit on top for too long, but we love to watch the ascension to greatness. We
Hmm.
love to watch the rise and the climb to the top. But then once you've been sitting at the top for too long, then it's like we psychologically want to cut you down. And now that the David has become Goliath, it's like now we got to find a new David to
Right.
cut him
Well,
down.
that comes down to the fact that it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? I can relate to your story. I can relate to your journey. I can relate to your struggles. I can relate to your aspirations. I can relate to everything that you got going on your journey to rise to the top as an underdog. I can relate to all that. But now that you got there, I'm still not there. I'm still on my journey. So it was cool, you know what I'm saying, to see you there. But now I want that spot.
So now that you, but what
I
if?
want to be Money Mayweather.
But do you think it's an individual situation where people actually really want the spot, or is it that they just don't want to see you there?
I think that's limited to only certain individuals that don't want to see you there.
I think that the majority of people actually don't.
Why would you think that?
Well,
Because I love seeing Floyd Mayweather as an
but
undefeated
again,
champ.
you're successful. The majority of people are not successful, or at least the majority of people don't identify with success on the grand scale.
Hmm.
Remember something. What percentage of men see a six-figure income?
I think it was like 10%, something like that.
So let's
I,
let's
I don't
hold on,
remember the
hold on,
exact
hold on,
number.
hold on. You playing in my field. So let's go see my man.
Hmm.
Go holler at the wise man real quick. What percentage make six figures?
Yeah, I'm on the same thing.
So according to CNBC, and this was from May 30th of 2022, just 11% of women make over $100,000 or more on a national level, whereas 21% of men do. So according to I don't know that source.
I ain't never heard of Go banking rates, but they saying 33% of Americans make six figures annually, and 15% of those earn between 100 to 150. As far as how many Americans have a net worth over $1 million, 9% fell in 2020.
So I want you to think this through and like really wrap your mind around this concept. Is by and large, a lot of people can't identify with certain levels of success because the technical skill that it takes to be successful over and over and over again, or to develop a formula to be successful over and over again, many people don't have it. And we use the six-figure income as a marker. Oh, well, me having six figures doesn't necessarily mean that I'm successful. Yes, that's true. Six figures is merely a marker to
It's a
what
milestone.
not necessarily a milestone, but it's a mental marker for where most people, or where a lot of people, I can't say most, but where a lot of people would deem themselves to be successful.
Hmm.
Is that once you hit that 6 figure mark, then it's like, and it's revered as I'm within the top 20% of earners
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
that point. So
It's a great feeling.
yeah, but many people don't understand, and nor will they understand what that feels like to be of the top echelon of earners. So I really want you to think about it. It's just like for you to say, "Oh well, I love seeing this type of thing, and I love seeing this type of thing, and I love seeing this type of thing." That's more of an anecdotal thing than it is by and large. I believe, and again, this is based on some level of speculation. Some forgive me, but I theorize that a great deal of people, because they cannot conceptualize success, they frown on it. Have you ever heard somebody say money isn't everything?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good luck to you.
You ever heard somebody say money can't buy you happiness?
You just don't know where to shop. I'm
It's
keeping
funny
it.
that
I'm keeping it a buck.
I told somebody that actually one of the most inspiring things that I ever heard. What is my man name? The old dude that like to curse people out all the time.
Oh, Dan Pena.
Dan Pena. Dan Pena said, and it's like it was just a short little spurt or something. Dan Pena said, "Yeah, you want to save the world, you want to do this, that, and the third. Go get some money.
Yeah.
Can't save the world without money. Like you want to put out fires, you want to feed the homeless, you want to save the world in whatever capacity. Well, guess what? You can't do any of that without money. You need to
Correct.
have some money to get something done. Nobody drives off of just this alone. You have to be able to have access to things or access to resources to make things happen. If it really matters to you the way you say that it matters to you, you need to have money. I'm
Yes.
not just going in to just go fight fires and stuff and put myself potentially at risk. And there's no benefit to my family for me to give my life up in exchange for somebody else's life or somebody else's family's life. But then now my kid is without a father because I was high off nobility, but now there's nothing that they benefit from that.
Mhm.
I won't say it's ridiculous. I mean, it's noble, but at the same token, that nobility has nothing to do with the fact that if I'm going to put myself on the line, those firefighters, they're going to have something. There's going to be an insurance, a pension, or something along the line. Those officers who died in the line of duty,
Mhm.
there's a benefit on the back end, there's an incentive on the back end for sacrificing their lives for the greater good of society.
Yeah, their family is going to still thrive, and they're not going to. It's going to be painful that saying the individual's gone, and rest in peace to all of those that do fight fires for us and hold up the law for us. But your family on the back end is not finna feel a financial burden. So yeah, nobility doesn't pay the light bill. Nobility doesn't pay uh the internet bill simply because you just got the heart and the desire to do it. There needs to be some type of, like you said, insurance policy or something to back you. So I hope that makes sense.
I mean, I think that it should, but I mean, it's like the one thing about it is that in understanding Dan Pena's philosophy and that, and again, it's like you know how I feel about these guys. Like I'm not necessarily the hugest fan of a lot of these guys' philosophies, but what I am a fan of is the things that make sense. And when it ties into it, it's
Mhm.
just like if you were in a bad situation, you said, "Hey, man, I really need you right now." If you're just in an emotional place and say like, "Yo, bro, I just really need my brother with me. I just need you here." Well, guess what? I need some money to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to buy the plane ticket, pay the gas to drive.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to have something established to take the time off of work and know that I won't financially be at risk
Right.
to go and say something, to go and care for you. Like, hey man, something's wrong with mom. Hey, something's wrong with this, that, and the third. I need to be able to have the I say the luxury, but I need to be able to have the establishment of something in place to be able to say, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week. I need to go care for my ailing mother. I'm on my way to
Yeah.
wherever.
That's part of that emergency plan. And
Yeah,
and again, to be able to participate in an emergency when you are absolutely needed, it takes money.
and this is one of those things to where as far as the concept of changing your life, and it's like tying it back into the title, when you realize that there are things that are more important than yourself, and you realize the need of you to be able to participate in these activities which are more important than self, it ties you into understanding that you need to have certain accesses to certain resources or certain situations to be able to participate in those things. So if you looking long term, right? Let's just say you're not somebody who went and just had a bunch of kids young and didn't establish yourself in some right, and you thinking to
Mhm.
yourself like, when my kid decides they want to play sports or have recitals or plays or stuff like that, I want to be in a career to where I know I can leave, or I can work remotely or something like that, so that I can make sure that every Friday I'm in those stands. So every game day. So when it's time for the parents of the team to alternate on, okay, this week we're gonna drive the kids, or this week is gonna be my week with the Girl Scouts. This is gonna be my week with the little Fireflies, or whatever the situation may be. That I'm always able to actively participate in the activities revolving around parenting. You see, a lot of us don't look that far into it, and it's like, well, I can't do this because I have to work, or I can't do this because I have to work, and it's like, you pigeonhole yourself into these situations to where your job becomes your god.
Mhm.
It controls you, it consumes you. You don't even try to find it. You just automatically have the excuse embedded in you that you can't do because of the job. And if I don't have the job and I don't have the situation, because you're constantly reminding yourself what you don't have established. And that's the reason why you're not allowed to gain any leverage in any aspect of your life.
Mhm.
Imagine telling me, hey, yeah, man, hurricane wiped everything out, took everything from me. All right, man, look, let me call my boss and see if I can get time off of work so that I could come down there and come help you pick up the pieces of your life after Hurricane Janet came through.
Right.
How would that make you feel to say, I got to check with my boss to go and check on my brother after hurricane just took his livelihood from him?
Mhm.
But we don't think that far into play. So when you start noticing things, you start looking at things, you start having, I guess you say, epiphany, since that's the phrase that pays. When you start having these moments of saying, like, man, I really don't like the feeling of not being able to have the access to X, Y, Z, and third when I want it. I don't like the fact that when the kids ask for something, I have to wait until next coming Friday, or I have to put in
Mhm.
overtime, or potentially do odd jobs or side hustles and stuff to try to get the money because I don't earn enough to be able to support just going to go and do something. Like, case in point, the McDonald's. I don't eat it.
Mhm.
I would prefer it if my kids didn't eat it. I prefer it if nobody ate it, personally.
Yeah.
But regardless, let's just say, for the sake of identifying a marker or instrument of say an example of nothing. McDonald's for one person could be upwards about $10 to $15. Now multiply that times a family of five. You already know. Just feeding you and the boss already is just two
Yeah.
value meals. Let me go grab a plate. Let me go to the jerk chicken place, and that with the rice and the whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you really getting hit.
yeah. So you talking about
$25 a plate.
$40 for you. Like, let's not talk about the
Hmm.
tip.
The tip, yeah, for
And
sure.
again, that's still takeout. We're not talking about you going to go sit down, have a nice dinner, glass of wine, you know what I'm saying, appetizers,
Hmm.
whatever have you, and then the whole nine. We're just talking about
Yeah.
regular McDonald's.
You talking about bills? I mean, at that point, your bill's looking like a car note.
So your bill of one night's lavish expenditure of XYZ amount of Happy Meals, um, then whatever little add-ons that you get, plus the big value meals for the grown folks and stuff, could easily be a $50 to $75 situation. Like, bro, that's some people's water bill.
Hmm.
You just spent a brand new pair of shoes
Burgers.
in burgers and toys that they only gonna play with once, maybe twice. But you pay for the experience, and you didn't mind paying for the experience because you saw the happiness and the joy that it put on the kids' faces to be able to pull up and grab their little value meals and to open up their little box and, oh, look what I got. The
Yeah,
whole
there's a whole science behind it, dog. Like what you just said. Like that's the scheme. That's that whole entire well thought out scientific scheme that McDonald's built behind that.
it's the endorphin
There's,
rush.
yeah, there's a reason why the box is the red, that particular shade of red. It got the big smiley face on it. Like all of that is deliberate.
And with all of that being said, too, man, you got to take into consideration that you look at it from a perspective of access. Like, for me, it's like there's no price that I will put on providing a smile for my children.
Hmm. I mean, Disney World, SeaWorld, you get the 3 day hopper, the 5 day hopper, and you spending upwards of $300 to $500, even for a kid. Put for the experience to putting a smile on your child's face.
That's it.
There's no price you can put on that.
Taking
Plus 500.
pictures for them to gas out and pass out by 8 o'clock and be sleeping to the next day because they just had the euphoric rush of the gods. But
Oh man, there's Cinderella, there's Mickey, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that, there's oh my god. And then like you said, they gas out 7 o'clock. They sleep.
that's what you're paying for, so that I can have adult time beyond that point. But that's neither here nor that. That's neither. YouTube don't flag me. No, but no, that's really what it boils down to. A lot of times is that you don't want the negative feelings of not being able to provide that thing. You don't want the negative feelings of your children having to miss out because of your lack of ability to provide those things or to create those things. And that's a lot of where things boil down for people is the fact that either we make excuses for the reason why you don't have the resources available to do. Oh, well, that's a waste of money. Anytime that I ever tried to convince myself that something wasn't worth the money is because I didn't have the money.
That's all it boiled down to, dog.
And even
I don't see the I don't see this in that. I don't understand that, and da 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 da. You
Yeah.
just don't have it. I mean,
You
it'll
know,
be a lot easier if you just said you don't have the money.
if I had Gucci money and it was just like disposable income, I'll go buy it. I could care less. You don't
Right.
care about things that you're in position to be able to have and do.
Mhm.
So
Right.
when you start looking at things, it's like, okay, well, I can look at one of the luxury brand cars and say to myself, well, I don't understand why I'm paying this much money for this luxury vehicle. Like what makes this vehicle luxury anyway? Okay, I'm complaining because now I'm at my ceiling. But at the same time, it's like I can tell you all the specs on why a Nissan Altima is a great car, but then I turn around and tell you about why I'm so adamantly against the Tesla. My only reason may not be because of the fact that a Tesla is outside of my weight class, but a great deal of it is trying to discourage myself from spending the money. A great deal of talking down to certain things is because of the fact that you are not equipped to handle it.
That's passed down too.
Talk about that.
That's passed down too. Like that having that thought, that feeling, that process where if you come from an environment where we're not having these conversations about money, or an environment of struggle and things of that nature where money isn't important, things of that nature. I think that's where a lot of that attitude towards, for the sake of the conversation, the Tesla, I think that's where that stems from, because we're never, and I quoted Robert Kiyosaki before, and it's like, because we're never trained or taught to say, how can I afford it? If I ain't got the money, I can't get it. And that's the end of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like we're never uh taught to think outside of the box. Okay, so, well, I know a down payment on a Tesla is like 10 grand, you know what I'm saying? Or put myself in the best credit position to where I ain't got to put nothing down. These conversations just aren't had. So we immediately just go to the defense of, I can't afford it. So, and then because you've heard other individuals in your life talk negative about things that they can't afford, it just trickles down, you know what I'm saying, the trickle effect.
You
And so
know,
therefore you develop that attitude as well.
I agree with you on that. And the thing about it is that, like, even for instance, like the apartment that I'm in, I remember when we first moved in there, I used to complain about the rent. When we first moved in was I think 1365. I would kill for 1365 rent right now.
Yeah.
But I complained,
I
complained.
would love a mortgage 1365.
I complained so much about that 1365 rent, and we got our backs up against the wall up until the point to where it's like we just needed a place to stay. And I just told her, all right, look, just take this next check and take your next check and go in there, just sign a name on the dotted line. You already got my social. Just go in there and go do what you got to do, and just get me some keys. Just give me some keys. I just need to go and lay my head in something to where I'm king in my
Yeah.
whole crib. I can't do it no more. I can't walk on eggshells in somebody else's house no
Yeah.
more. I just got to go someplace to where if I feel like screaming at the top of my lungs, I have the right and the authority to do so.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I've been in a position where I was essentially a professional couch surfer, and I got sick and tired of that. Yeah, I got sick and tired of that, and that's another uh part of making a change in your life is you sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Boy, that's a whole series all its own. Being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, Let's go there. Let's go there. Come on, man. I'm game. Let's go there. Being sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let's talk. What's this? What you mean sick and tired of being sick and tired? What you sick and tired of? You know what I'm sick and tired of? Or you know what I got sick and tired of? I got sick and tired of feeling like I was letting myself and the people who were relying on me down because I couldn't produce. That I had all these great ideas, but nothing ever seems to be able to come to fruition. I was gonna be this. I was gonna turn into this. It's like it was always seemed like it was more mouth service than it was actual fruit bearing off of a tree. I never seemed to be able to get anything to land, and it used to just drive me nuts. Then I had the bright idea to say, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to do the one thing that I don't want to do, and that's seek upward mobility with a job. After I did that and I got a chance to see life from the other side, I can't think entry level about anything because once you get access to a larger picture understanding, you never go back. It helps you see a whole different spectrum of why things are done or what they're done or why they should be done a certain kind of way. Having certain levels of intel. And that's why I told you that one of the things that really motivates me is having access. That you have to achieve a certain level of education or a certain level of trust or a certain level, whatever it is, in order to gain the access that you need to the
Yep.
tools and resources.
Yep.
And until you learn how vast the amount of resources are, you just existing. Like I put out a short earlier today where I was saying, um, asking how you living or existing. And I broke down the difference between living and existing. That existence is just you go with the motions. You get up and you just go with the flavor of the day. Wherever the day goes. Monotony. Get up, this, work, food,
Mm-hmm.
sit down,
Mm-hmm.
blah, little time here, little time, and then go to sleep, wash, rinse, repeat. Like there's no rhyme or reason to the things that you do. But to live is that every aspect of what you do has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Getting on here, having these conversations with you every other day has a purpose. There's a reason. There's a larger picture behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Going to school at 37 has a larger picture behind it. These sleepless nights, being tired, working overnight, doing the things that we're doing as far as, all right, paying down these credit cards. Why am I paying down the credit cards? Because I know there's a larger picture. When I need to do something, I need to have the access to the credit score. And the way
Yeah.
that you get the access to the credit score is by getting rid of a lot of these unnecessary things that are going on.
For sure.
Case in point, high credit card bills.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. When I want to go and get a new car, I want to be able to just walk in the door and say, hey, give me that one. Hey man, how much down payment can you put down? How
I
much you
put none
need?
down.
How much you need?
I put none down. My credit says is I'm good.
How much you need? How much you need? Come on, talk to me. You tell me. Oh well, I need like that. Well, I say this. Go ahead and run that real quick. Matter of fact, I don't even want to talk to you because I can tell by your energy that your sales is low and you desperate. Hey, let me talk to so and so over there. There's a reason why he the top salesman in the building. Let me talk to him. I'm like, you losing so bad, man. I want to take your wife out on a date so she get a chance to see what real masculinity look like, man. Go ahead.
The only car you gonna be leaving in is a hearse.
Hey, no, I ain't gonna say nothing like that. But my point is, despite the comedic response, is the fact that you want to be able to have access to all of the best stuff,
Yeah,
and you know that there's a means of getting it. That there's the other way, and then there's the proper way. If you want to do it the proper way, then there's a system. And going back to our earlier part of the conversation, the steps are already laid out. A 750 or higher credit score opens up the gateway, the floodgates to whatever it is that you want. It's not a card that you can't apply for that they're going to disapprove you for. The only cards that you might not get are the cards that you have to be invited only for.
yeah. Your signatures and your blacks and your greens and shit like that.
or,
Yeah,
or the or the J.P. Morgan reserves and stuff
the
like that.
reserves. Yeah, yeah.
Cards that people don't
That
even.
right there, you can't even get invited to the reserve unless they're running your portfolio, and even then, your portfolio needs to be 10 million. Then you get invited to that card,
They have 10 million in
and
assets.
you can still not get approved.
But oh yeah, he got that's new money. That's not sustainable cash. He gonna be broke in
Mhm.
6 years. We looked at his financial analysis. And
They
also,
had to have they got to be running your portfolio, and I think they changed it because I think it was they had to be running your portfolio of 10 million for 2 years, and I think they may have changed it to three now. So
my,
yeah, it's tough to get that card.
my point is that despite the nuances of a single card, the
Hmm.
the underlying understanding is that the blueprint is already laid out for you to get eligible.
Yeah,
For you to become eligible, the blueprint is already laid out. So if I'm just going to the store, going to go buy my grocery store, pull out my gold card, boom, boom, boom. Well, guess what? Because of the fact that I look 10 years down the road or 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and I don't want to get penalized or I don't want to lose out on my ability to have access, well, guess what? I'm going to spend less than I make. I'm going to use this card and then I'm going to pay it right off to show positive credit history and wash, rinse, repeat. You just keep making positive decisions with what you're given to avoid putting yourself in a situation where you are restricted access to the things that you want long term.
for sure.
I don't want to go in and have to get the homeboy interest rate. I don't want to have to go to the buy here, pay here to buy a car. I don't want to have to go
500
buy.
down drives, or you got a job, you can drive
Yeah, you
type.
know what I'm saying? With the low jack in it and stuff, you got to pay every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
They got to verify wages and stuff to make sure that you got enough coming in every 2 weeks. And it's like they give you the most egregious interest rate under the sun. Like, no, I don't want to. I never want to know what that feels like.
I
I
want
be,
to get in a position, like you said, access. I want to get into a position where Ford is calling me, or Chevy, or uh, Lambo, whatever. They're actually calling me and saying, "Hey, we got this brand new car. We want you to test drive it for 30 days for us, and then let us know if you want to keep it, and then we'll throw a price." You know what I'm saying? Like I want that type of relationship. I want Porsche to call me and say, "Hey, we want you to drive our new Porsche and let us know if you want to keep it."
but since you're in the tech space anyway, we want you to try out the bells and whistles and the gadgets and let us know
Exactly.
it's to your likeness. And that's just there's just certain attributes to that to where when I look at it, I am more so concerned about putting myself in a situation to where I'm looking at the growth. So let's give some concrete things because we talk a lot about these things, but I think that we go
Hmm.
off on a few tangents. So a couple of concrete things, we can come up with a concrete list of ways or what I'm saying, what it takes to change your life. First things first, I would say number one thing would be identifying the need for change.
For sure. That's very. That's the very first thing. Not being no longer being oblivious to it. You know you need to make that change for sure.
You know, whether it's a level up, whether it's a tragic situation, no matter what the trigger is that gets you to the place to where you realize the need for the change, you have to get to that place to where you identify the necessity for the change.
Hmm.
I think number two, actually, what would be your number two?
Number two would be health, because once you come to the realization of identifying the need for the change, well, then you have to make sure that you maintain your health so that you can stay on your journey. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's gonna make it happen for you but you. So you got to make sure that you in tip top shape to endure the journey, and or when you obtain your 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 wealth or whatever that you're trying to do, and you got a family, well, you need to maintain your health to make sure that the family is straight.
Real talk, because like a lot of people that work themselves to death,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, I'm doing it for the family, I'm doing it for this, I'm doing it for that, I'm doing it for this, I'm doing it for that. And it's just like, well, guess what? If you burn out,
The
then,
family burnout.
who's going to be there to take care of them?
Mm-hmm.
After getting burned out, you gassed out. So now you got all these physical ailments because you're always on the go. So you eat a bunch of fast food. You're not watching what
Mm-hmm.
you're putting inside your body.
Yep.
Then on top of it, you're stressed. You're physically stressed. You're mentally,
Water
emotionally
intake
stressed.
is trash. You know, and under health, you know what I'm saying. It might even just be a third one where, since we're talking about health, let's talk about your mental health.
You
You
got
know,
to
I
have a
don't.
means. You have to have an outlet. You have to have a means of separating yourself from your situation.
Yeah,
And for somebody like yourself, you know, Apex Legends is it's the release.
yeah.
You know, for me, it's like as of late, it's been going to the gym. It's been cooking food, preparing meals in the house, doing certain things that bring me peace.
Mhm.
So I get a lot of joy by just going in the kitchen and just freestyling some stuff and just like, all right, let me try this out. Let me figure this out. Let me put some sauce in them ribs, literally.
Mm,
And you find yourself in a situation where now you are more concerned with creating things that bring you peace or being involved in things that bring you peace.
mhm,
Whether it's going to go, hey man, once a week, every Monday, I'm going to the bar. We go to the same bar every Monday, same time. Everybody meets up, no exceptions. We just sit down and we just have a good time. We leave home at home, we leave work at work, and we just out here having time with the homies. And that's all we doing.
mhm,
Just mental freedom. So when you remember when I came back to town that one day, and you're like, hey, we all going to Evil Horse. And I'd never been there. Like obviously, you over there buying the chicken by the slab and stuff like that
mhm,
outside of the bar, and it's like, yo, this
mhm,
is kind of cool. But you have to remember, in that setting, there's a lot of y'all that, well, not y'all, but there's a lot of people in that setting that I hadn't seen in well over a decade in person. And as I'm sitting here, it's just like, wow, this is such a refreshing thing.
mhm,
You know what wasn't on my mind? The 1,189-mile drive that I took to get up there.
mhm.
You know what wasn't on my mind? Work. You know what wasn't on my mind? Being tired or fatigued. You know what wasn't in my mind? My car. Anything that could have possibly, anything that could have possibly been deemed a negative was not on my mind at that time
Mhm.
because it was just a refreshing good time. I'm sitting over here at dartboards. I mean, I lost, but that's not the point. The point
Yeah,
is,
Marvin's pretty good.
the point is that for that brief moment, you had that mental release to where it's just like I can actually just sit here and just hang out with the guys.
An absolute must. And Marvin to tell you, man, like I was constantly on the go, on the go. I'm working, hustling, hustling, working, hustling, working, on the go, overnights, daytime, overnight, daytime, overnight, daytime, overnight, hustling, working, building my company. Now I've all I feel like that I've been through enough of the hustle and bustle and grind to where now I'm getting into the groove of,
Cadence.
you know what I'm saying? So yes, it is absolutely needed. I enjoy my time when I'm with my kids, the wife, chilling. I'm on the box, chilling, or when I get stressed or you know what I'm saying, I didn't put out a billion fires today. I need a mental release. I need to shoot something. I'm not finna go out in the world and do it, but I'll get on Apex and do it, you know. So I really have found myself getting into a groove of finding my own peace, my own stress relievers, and it's definitely needed for sure. But I had to build myself up to that.
Correct.
I'm, hold on, baby, give me a minute, please.
Daddy time.
Yeah.
But no, I mean it's like absolutely. It's one of those things to where uh mental health is just I would throw that under the health because it's like the physical health along with the mental health. It's just like you gotta you have to make sure that the tick marks are taken care of your emotional health, your relationship
Mhm.
health,
All that.
all that, everything. It's like you got to make sure that these places, because this is a balancing act between being financially successful. Because to be financially successful means that you are taking time away from this
Hmm.
to build this, which means that you have to build this and then you have to be able to create something that makes it sustainable to where you could devote some time to this. So now the family needs some time.
Right.
Like it
For sure.
can't be I'm so busy, busy, busy out here working and grinding. It's like, yeah, my bank account is nice, but man, my house is in disarray. I don't even recognize these my kids. When you start wearing that, get that from? Why that shirt don't fit no more? Because you ain't been to the store.
Yeah. So we got this sign uh right before you walk into the man cave. It says, "Welcome to our beautiful chaos."
I
You
like
know. So yeah, as far as the house being in disarray, we've definitely put a lot of work and emphasis into that as well. You know what I'm saying? We really have dedicated ourselves to making sure, especially the toy room, making sure the toy room is together. It ain't Legos and all that everywhere, and the room is unsafe. You know what I'm saying? The floors, the baby constantly dropping food and milk and all that. Definitely dedicated, making sure that the floors is clean and all that, giving him a safe space to crawl around and all that. So yeah, we really put a lot of emphasis in making sure the house is straight. You know. Um, I'm even getting to the point where I don't mind doing the whole minimalist thing. You know, I just got a bunch of tech stuff I need to get rid of.
seriously. I got a bunch of clothes and stuff like that. I'm still giving stuff away. I think I must have gave away about two or three hefty bags, not hefty bags, but glad bags, the garbage bags
Hmm.
worth of stuff that is just like, okay, these things no longer have any purpose in my life. And now you made the preliminary list and now you go through the secondary list and then the tertiary list and it's like you just keep going down the line to find like, man, like I'm not gonna wear this, I'm not gonna do anything with this. I
Hmm.
tried to keep this, but this really don't mean anything to me. This will never have any real value to me, and so forth. And it's like that's I'm sitting there looking at a bin right here with toys that my daughter ain't never gonna touch again.
Hmm.
14-year-old ain't never gonna touch these again, but it's like you don't want to get rid of them because they're not yours.
Yeah, and I think that that's a boundary that I think a lot of parents today got to work on as well. Is saying, yeah, I know they're a kid, but it's what I say that only works for certain things. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? You do give your child the respect that that is their toy. Yeah, you bought it, but you bought it for them and their enjoyment. Let them tell you they don't want that toy.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
We're not done. We only had two. We need, I think, at least maybe four.
I wasn't stopping.
Oh, bet. Oh, bet.
I
Because
wasn't
we just
stopping.
hit the hour, and I'm like, oh wait,
No, I said, no, I said
I'm
that's what.
enjoying the
See,
convo.
but you see, how you gonna stop me from putting the sweet baby rays on the ribs, brother?
Oh man, yes, love it. What
Come on now,
the brown
put
sugar?
sweet baby
What
rays on these ribs.
ribs?
All right, so we are identifying a need for change, health, which is including physical health, mental health, emotional health, and otherwise. I would say a number three that I would add in there would be that you have to your evaluate your knowledge base slash seek mentorship. You have to make sure that you're not surrounding yourself full of a bunch of people who know as little about where you want to be as you. I can't spend all of my time and surrounding myself with a circle of people who have no knowledge, no information. It's just a bunch of people spreading around what they think something is, and nobody knows anything. Nobody has anything of
Mm-hmm.
value to offer to the conversation. You have to start aligning yourself with the people who have what you want, who know how to get it, who
Yeah.
can show you the steps, who can tell you about the mistakes that they made along the way to ensure that you don't make them. So I would definitely say that increasing your knowledge base and seeking mentorship would be number three. What do you think?
So for sure. So I mean, there's this saying that if you five of your top friends that you hang around or something along the lines of that, that's broke. Guess who number six is?
Somebody else, because I'm leaving.
So I think that we have to uh, really start taking charge of the people that we have in our circle and in our life, whether they're adding to or taking away, and people that you also got to take into account of people that you hang around too. It's that whole like you guilty by association that matters too. You know what I'm saying? Who you hang around could actually cost you opportunities and problems. So there's this story that Fat Joe was talking about. I forgot which interview he was on, but he was talking about how I think it was a Monster. It might have been Monster, or it might have been a vodka. But anyway, bro, that's irrelevant. So this particular company wanted to make him an ambassador of the company. They wanted to pay him like 2.5 million or something like that. 2 to 2.5 million. Could have been even three. But because of Fat Joe's circle, when the gentleman showed up to try to talk to Joe to try to work out the deal, his circle, you know what I'm saying, like cut it off. It cut the pipeline off to allow this man to flow through to give him the money. So you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with having a tight knit circle or whatever, but you got to be mindful of the people that you're hanging around, especially when opportunities start to arise and they're cutting you off from your own opportunities.
Absolutely.
So pay very close attention to that. Um, I know you said knowledge base. I would like to actually dump knowledge base over the four if we could. Which knowledge base is once you have identified that you want to change, Once you identify that we finna start working on our mental health, emotional health, our body, things of that nature, then we're going to start uh pretty much going through our basically our phone book. We start going through our phone book and start removing the numbers that do nothing for us and injecting numbers that's going to help us get to where we want to go. Basically, you can't be afraid to do not be afraid to cut off individuals. You know, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. That person's probably going to be upset and mad, but it's for the better benefit of you. It's for the betterment of you. And if that person is just not injecting anything in your life that you need, and that's not to say to cut off individuals that just don't provide anything, because that person can still just be an overall genuine good friend. You want to keep the overall genuine good friend around, but recognize the toxic ones and cut them off. You know what I'm saying? Cut the head off the snake. It's perfectly fine. It's okay.
Real
There's a
friends
billion,
don't
there's a
start
trillion more, there's a billion more people in the world that you could be friends with. It's perfectly fine. It's okay. Uh, but then once you start to, start going through your friend list, knowledge base, let's go ahead and talk about knowledge. Self development and education. The putting gaining as much knowledge and information as possible to put yourself in the best position possible so that you can make these upward momentums.
agreed.
Whether it whether it be uh like Mike here, got a bomb. And when I say bomb, I mean bomb promotion. But he put himself in position to learn everything that he needed to learn and put himself around the individuals that he needed to put himself around to make this upward mobility. And you need to start doing the same. If you need to start reading certain books, if you need to start Googling and YouTubing certain things to better yourself and to learn different things, to skill up, that, you know what I'm saying? If you hear skill up anywhere else, they stole it from us. Skill up is our word. When you start putting yourself in position to skill up so that you can move up, self development and education is very important when it comes to changing. What does it take to change your life?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I absolutely agree with that wholeheartedly. Still ain't better than my list, but no, I agree with that whole.
it's
I,
it's it's our list.
I
I
know.
just I
I'm
just
just
moved knowledge base into his own
it's
number.
his own category.
Yeah,
No, I'll rock with that absolutely. And just to throw some sauce on them ribs a little bit,
yeah, man, sauce it up.
I would definitely say that one of the most important things that I would associate with that theoretically would be that you have to constantly remind yourself that you're a student forever,
Mhm.
that there's always something to learn, that even when I become the teacher, I'm still learning skills of how to teach, how to mentor, how to be the bigger brother when necessary. And I also understand I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time. I'm not going to knock it out of the park 100% of the time. But I
Mhm.
also understand that there is a shift, and there's going to be a time and a moment to where I'm going to have to assume the position of being the person that people are coming to. But that is something that has to be acquired through succeeding, through chipping away. That as I start to become and start moving up the ranks, that somebody needs to hear my success story the way I tell it to motivate them. Somebody has to hear it from my voice. There's a select group of people in the world that are assigned to me, that if I don't succeed, they don't succeed. So they must hear me. The people who draw to the Grant Cardones, the Daniel Penas, the Tal Lopez's, or any of those guys, that what they became famous for, the Kevin Samuels, the God, I can't remember what the name is. But you know what I'm saying, whatever the space is, whatever the sector is, somebody's ascension or somebody's rise into the level where they're going or what they're going to be is predicated off of somebody else rising to put themselves in position. Who knows? This episode here might be the motivating force that's going to change somebody's life one day. But if we didn't record it, if we didn't diligently make sure that we were on this thing every Saturday, every Tuesday, every Friday, every whatever to do this, somebody will be missing out. Somebody wouldn't be able to go to YouTube and find this content and say, wow, the way that I just heard Phil Jones or Midas with the King in front of it, the way I just heard them say that made perfect sense. And they just explained something that my teacher's been trying to get me to understand for years, that my mom was trying to get me to understand, and my dad's been trying to get me to understand. They can say it in a way that I can receive it.
I think the older you get, the more receptive you get. You know, you're way more mature. You're way more, educated. You have way more worldly experience, and you'll be able to now understand when game is being spit to you, and you can grasp what's being said to you. I want to put some more sauce in the ribs when you was talking about um when you have to assume the role of being that voice or that big brother or that guidance. Or that's I never believed in the statement, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. I never believed that, because I felt the same way that you're talking about. Like, it may come to a point where that you become the intellect, or you become the most experienced guy at that moment, that you are the one that needs to be heard, and you are the one that needs to deliver that message, and you are the one that needs to deliver that intellect, or that experiences, or what, insert whatever here. And you have to assume that role, and you need to assume that role proudly and make sure you knock it out the park.
Well,
So I
understand this. When you are the voice that's being heard, you're not in the same room that you were when you were doing the listening and absorbing the information. And then every time that you say something, it's not the same people listening to your voice. So because there's new ears every time, you're never in the same room. And just because you may be the wisest in this subject matter does not mean that you're the smartest man in that room. What it means is you limit yourself amongst people who, yes, man, or you limit yourself amongst people who you know for a fact that they don't produce or they don't do. That's what that statement means. Is when you surround yourself with people who don't bring any value to you
Mhm. Correct.
because it makes you feel bigger. It's like that one person, the loud mouth of every family that's always right about every single thing. Why? Because your pot is that big. So, of course, in this room, you're always the smartest one in this room because you're an idiot everywhere else. So, you have a safety by trying to keep everybody else in this little small pot. But then the moment that somebody ventures out and then they challenge you, you can't hold.
Well, I would definitely hope that you would want to. I mean, and we talked about that already with number three, with being around friends. I mean, you can even extend that to associates, uh, people that you're getting to know, things of that nature. But the statement that upon me saying that is for the understanding of, you want to make sure that, of course, you're in a room where the knowledge base is reciprocated. But when it's your time to be the intellect in that particular, I guess, moment in time, embrace it and give the knowledge that needs to be given. That's all I was getting at. I know what you're getting. I know what you're saying. and it makes absolutely total sense. That's how I was delivering the message.
Understood. So now we put enough sauce in them ribs because them ribs is mighty wet.
Yeah, it's time to cut into them, eat them up. So, um, I hope that four, you know what I'm saying, those, and hopefully those were four strong ones for you guys to start getting out there. And of course, it doesn't have to stop at four. Go ahead, hit us up on Facebook on the Extraordinary Men Facebook group, and start giving us, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. You know what I'm saying? Let's build this list together of what it takes for us to change our life. So, you know what I'm saying? Hit us up over there. Any questions, comments, concerns, any new ideas, anything that you want to talk about, you can hit us up over there as well. Mike is finna go ahead and post that QR code. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and click the bell for our YouTube channel. We are the Extraordinary Men Podcast, and we are here every Tuesday, every Friday, every Saturday. Tuesday, Friday, we here 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Saturday, we are here 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are always and forever in the building those days. We may be a little late. You got to remember, we are fathers, we are business owners. So give us a little bit of time to get on here. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that's on your journey, I'm pretty sure you understand. But regardless, we will be here, period.
He said everything I was gonna say. I mean, he made it sound way cooler than I would have. It's the glasses and this fact that his shirt and his background is so cool and laid back.
Yeah, I tried to make it, you know what I'm saying, like real mellow and easy on the eyes, you know what I'm saying, because we are going to be here for an hour, and I want to give you something that's just not blaring and not just, you know what I'm saying, making you sleepy or anything like that, but real soothing, calming, and we can have a nice, you know what I'm saying, mature adult, entrepreneurial or whatever we talking about conversation. So
I don't know. I'm kind of
extraordinary. I
I'm
want to make sure. Go ahead.
I'm kind of hating. I'm just gonna go ahead and open this up a little bit. Oh, you see all that 80-degree weather out there? Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
actually snowing right now. So I
yeah,
am hating.
yeah. Okay, no, I'm joking. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. As always, the Extraordinary Men Podcast, the most exciting podcast that you didn't know happened yet. Peace.